Hello.
Is that how we're gonna start this video? By dropping the phone?
Yeah, why not?
Oh, all right.
But it won't stay now.
That's what really happened.
That's what happened to us this day.
Here, we'll put
There you
my
go, do a
phone.
double. Yeah, double entendre.
Oh.
Nice.
All right, so
Jack says hello. I'm Phil. This is Sarah's Jack.
wait, what's my name?
Sarah.
Yeah.
We are Own It SLC.
Mm-hmm.
We are a collective of like-minded individuals that want to create stuff. And sometimes we create stuff to put on a stage, which we will start doing again very soon. But right now we create stuff with you guys over there at the old Odyssey house. So the idea of this video and every video every month is to spark some sort of something in you to create something and present to us on your Friday, whatever Friday that may be. This week, we've been thinking about tribes and movements.
Yeah.
Sarah listened to a podcast about it. Would you like to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah.
Cool.
So it's actually the topic of our latest Own It SLC podcast, episode 53, 54?
Mm-hmm.
54?
54.
54. I listened to a podcast by a man named Paul Chek. Paul Chek started the Chek Institute in 1995. It's a institute, basically the whole purpose of his tribe is holistic wellness, so nutrition, hydration, he said specifically, hydration. One thing I've learned recently about hydration is drink water before you drink coffee. So I drink about this much water before I drink coffee in the morning. Because I believe him. I believe the guy who told me that you should drink water before coffee. Simple stuff. Anyway, he talks about tribes and how there are unhealthy tribes and there are healthy tribes. There are cults. He talks about the difference between a cult and a tribe.
Which is?
Well, in a cult, they don't want your input. So it's all, the leader is up here and then they tell you what to do and your input is not welcome and the well-being of everyone isn't taken into account. It's just, you hear this word brainwash, but it's deeper than brainwash. It's like, you become dehumanized. Like you as a person no longer matter in a cult. And also it's about the leader's agenda, like, and them probably gaining money, popularity, power, and the people that are involved are just pawns in that whole scheme. In a tribe, you have a mission, vision, values, you have input from the people in the tribe to the leaders. There's like a back and forth between the leader and the people. There's a myth. And so he goes into this whole thing about myths and that it has been misunderstood in our culture right now what a myth is. A myth is actually really important for the well-being of a group of people. And what he says, the myth is something that never actually happened and is happening all the time. So when he said that, I was like, what does he mean? Something that never actually happened but is happening all the time. He uses the myth of Narcissus. Narcissus is a man who was obsessed with his own beauty and reflection, and so he shut out everyone else. So say you were trying to talk to me, Phil, and I was Narcissus, and all I could do was stare at my own beautiful reflection in the river, and I couldn't be bothered with you because I'm too obsessed with myself. This is the narcissist, right? Was there actually a man named Narcissus who drowned in the river because all he could do was stare at his own reflection? Maybe not. Probably not. However, this happens all the time. So if you've ever noticed how many selfies there are, you guys, I'm sure you all know that person who every post is like I don't know how they do it.
Duck
How do they do
face.
it? How do they do it? Yep, see. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to make it cute. Jack knows how to do it. Hey! Anyway, where they're obsessed with their own appearance. And they don't actually... Like, who cares? Who cares that you could take that many pictures of yourself? He also uses the analogy of the gym. So if those of you guys who are gym rats, maybe, you don't even have to be a gym rat. You probably have seen these selfies too, where they're in the gym, right? You're in the gym supposedly to get stronger, to get in better shape, and yet there are all these gym selfies. So it's like they're like turned to the side and their like stomach is sucked in, and the girls like they stick their butts out, and it's like they're he uses this specifically. He says in between sets when the people at the gym are supposed to be resting. Like, you're supposed to rest between sets. You're supposed to like reset your body. You're supposed to like slow down your breathing. Rest is a really important part of exercising and building strength. And yet these people, when they're supposed to be resting, are staring at themselves in the mirror and taking pictures. So this is an example of something that never actually happened and happens all the time. Narcissists, like that myth, is present all the time. So those are elements of a healthy tribe. So the myth, actually, like the story, is something that happens continually. So this got me thinking about Own It, and like Own It, I would say is a movement. I would say that it's a response, like my soul's response and Phil's soul's response to what we see as something important in the community where we live. And so we are acting in service of that idea. And that idea is, at its root, is empowering artists, is encouraging creativity, is offering people a mode and a venue to express themselves. You think that's true?
I believe that what we do is not only a response. Well, it's like a have to. I think maybe movements are born. They're not. I don't know if people necessarily, or at least we didn't set out to have a movement. It just kind of like there was an idea that was born, and then we cultivated it through doing it and invited people along, and it was kind of like a little baby, and we had to nurture it and make sure it didn't die by feeding it and stuff, and then it kind of grew, and we've talked about this concept before. Now it's a little older, and we don't have to worry about it so much. It just kind of corral it, maybe like I don't know, toddlerish, maybe.
Like older than this guy?
Yeah.
I think it's older than this guy.
Yeah, it's walking around, So I think that Own It is a movement, not because we chose it to be, but because it was a response. It was a necessity. It filled a gap. It was like it just happened, it was an organic, natural thing.
So that's one of the things he says in the podcast, is he says, if it's where the people really want to go, then they'll just go there. Like, you don't have to convince them that it's important. It's just like, hey, you want to do this? And for their own reasons, of their own free will, they're like, yeah, I want to do that. So we're here to invite you guys to participate of your own free will and to do a little bit of creative expression with us, whether it's writing, whether it's drawing. It's been cool to add that, the drawing part, because I would say in every class that we've done recently, since we added that with Odyssey House, there's one person who's like, hey, I drew this, and it's really cool. And our page of Odyssey House art on our Own It website is growing, because some of you would rather draw than write, and that's cool. All that we ask is that you spend a little time after you see this video to do some writing or
drawing.
To do some drawing, or if you got something else.
Origami. I'm still waiting for someone to do origami in response.
You can do a freestyle rap if you want to.
You can do whatever you want. Any sort of creation, a dance. You could have one of your staff or whatever. Film you doing a little dance. I don't know.
Hula hooping.
See, the movement though is you let it. You perhaps let it grow and do its thing, and it turns into a thing that you didn't necessarily know it was going to be. So when we started doing this, it was just writing. It was just stories on a stage, and now it's so.
So you guys are a part of that. You guys
are a part of that.
You guys are a part of how the movement of Own It grows. And honestly, I was kind of like hesitant, like you were calling it a movement a long time ago. And I would say not until I listened to this podcast did I really feel good about that. I was like, it seems kind of like pretentious for me to say. But I feel better about it because it's not just about what we're doing. It's about like people want to create stuff and they want to share it and they want it to be seen and heard. And so we are here to facilitate that because we think that it's important, and we're not the only ones who think that it's important, because here we are with you guys. So
yes,
you guys are a part of that, and we're grateful to you. We're grateful for, I would say, after every Odyssey House group, on Fridays, like we turn off the Zoom and we're like, damn, that was cool. And we're grateful to you.
Yeah, so grab a pen and a paper, or paper and no pen, and
or a hula hoop.
Whatever you want to do. We suggest, right after this video, you spend at least 10 minutes. You can set a timer if you're one of the staff members. What is the name of them? It's not staff, it's bugging me. Whatever you are, facilitators. If you could set a little thing and 10 minutes, but feel free to work on it longer than that if you have the time. Just make sure you watch the video and put in a little effort before we see you on Friday.
So then when we see you on Friday, it'll be kind of like a...
It's like a show.
He's distracting, I know.
You guys...
It's your opportunity to share, to be seen and heard, and we will be happy to see you and hear you. And so the more time and energy that you put in before we see you on Friday, the more satisfying that's going to be. So one thing that I will say about art making of any form, no matter what it is there's no replacement for time spent. So a lot of times I see people, they'll start on a drawing or they'll start writing something and they're like, this sucks. I'm like, well, you didn't spend very much time. Like, just spend some time with it and be curious about what you might express. Now is the time when we give a prompt.
Yeah, something about what's my movement? What movement am I involved in? Word that better. Because that's it. That's the prompt, but it's got to spark something more than that. Because we are all involved in a movement, whether you know it or not, I would think. That's not necessarily true, but I think it might be.
Okay, so I've been stuck on this idea lately of human fabric. Have I told you about my idea about human fabric?
No.
That the way that we're all connected is we're like strands in a human fabric. So we all that goes along with the whole movement idea. So kind of the prompt could be, if you think of yourself that way, if you could think of yourself as a small part of something bigger, what would that be? Whoever you are, I blank am a small part in the movement of blank. So whatever that is to you, you get to decide. That's part of Own It, is you get to use the words, you get to spend the time to articulate, to say what that means. So I blank.
I'm a small part
of
the movement blank. Or just whatever you want.
Or if you're like, what the hell are they talking about? Write what you want. What I really want to say is, and just write that. And you'll probably write something cool. But if you need a prompt,
just go for 10 minutes, whatever it is. That's the idea, is to kind of open your brain up.
How we were like, write this, unless you don't want to, and then write whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's how we do it.
So we'll see you Friday. Peace.